Working, but we can tell you the how-tos all day long, every day. But if you don't have the burning desire, if you don't know exactly what you want in this business, then you won't get there. And so you have to be very clear about what you want in this business. And so I'm going to kind of talk about your why. And as I share this is because we get excuses all day long. We get excuses like, I don't know the product or the market well enough. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. Now, do you need to get better in this division? Do you need to be professional? Absolutely. But the only way you're going to get better is to go out there and do activity. I want to learn how to ride a bike. I can come to these classes all day long. Until I get out there, get on the bike, fall down, scrape my knee, I'm never going to learn how to ride a bike. But half of you can ride a bike no-handed with your eyes closed now because you went out there and rode your bike. So you have to go out there and do the activity. The marketing tools don't work. We have Millionaire Club members in our business. The marketing tools work, right? So again, it's what you choose, what you want. And as I share my why, it didn't matter if the marketing tools didn't work. Let's say they don't work. If your daughter was drowning in the water and the float raft didn't work, would you say, well, drowned? No. You'd figure out a way to go save your daughter. So figure it out. Where else do you have an opportunity to figure it out? Where else is someone going to give you the opportunity to have long-term residual income for life? Where else is someone going to give you the opportunity to have a legacy that you can will 2 generations down? Where else did anybody give you the opportunity to be a part of 2 multi-million-dollar companies and you had no background, no qualifications, nothing to be a part of it? Stop taking this business for granted. Stop treating it like it's a hobby. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to cost you like a hobby. And go out there and take advantage of that. Don't overthink the process, you guys. If you overthink it, if you focus on the results, that's where you're going to get what you need. And so if you focus on all the other stuff, that's what you're going to get. Then it's going to be complicated. Go out there and do the activity. I don't know the decision maker. And seriously, all these things are excuses. And I'll go over that in just a second. I'm afraid I won't do it perfectly. You probably won't. That's okay. Again, if you have a servant's heart and you're trying to help them, that's what will show through. So if you're trying to sell them, that's what will show through. And usually when someone's trying to sell somebody and they don't do it right, that's when they're critical. But if they know you're trying to help them, it doesn't really matter. Think about if you're someone that you cared about said, can I get your help? You watch them fumble, it doesn't matter. You want to help them. If you have relationships, it doesn't really matter. I don't know how to overcome objections. Well, the only way you're going to know how to overcome objections is to go out there and get some more, So it's your choice, like Mr. Serba said. You can choose to succeed or you can choose to fail, and either one's right. What are you going to choose in your business? And I'm going to go through the first part kind of fast, just in light of time. But, the favorable outcome, this is the definition of success, Webster's Dictionary. But it doesn't really matter what that is. What's your definition of success? Because that's what matters. Everybody's definition is different. Some people might, want to just be a stay-at-home mom. Some people want to be an income changer and be a Millionaire Club member. And that's another thing to be careful in your business. When you have someone out there doing this business, if they just want to go out there and sell 2 business plans, let them. Right? Thousands of people selling 2 business plans is way better than 2 doing nothing, right? And so that's where it's going to build. Let people do what they want in this business. One of the fundamental principles of winning is the ability to see what success looks like, to know where it is that what you're trying to achieve, and have a clear vision of where the finish line is, and that's what's waiting on the other side. If you don't have those things, there's no way to focus and organize your resources around reaching that singular most important goal. That's what your why is. If I'm trying to go to New York and I don't know where I'm going, I don't have a map, it's going to be kind of difficult to get there. So you need to make sure you're clear on what your why is. What did it look like last time you had success? How did it feel? What did you have to give up? What were the consequences? Because you've all had success in some way. You all got 1A, you all made some team, you all did something that was successful. So again, you have to believe that you can have success to go out there and get it. And so remember what that was like. Remember what you had to sacrifice before you go out there and do it, and apply that here in Legal Shield. And the thing about choice, what I like, is it gives you the power. That's the most important definition that I have on there, is you have the power. Stop letting everything else have the power over your life. Stop blaming everyone else. Have responsibility, because that gives you the power. I don't care what you're going through. If you choose to have the power, it doesn't really matter what you're going through, because you can change any circumstances that you have right now. You can change everything in your life in 5 years. I don't care where you are, what you're coming from. In 5 years, you can go from homeless, poor, I have nothing, sick, cancer, it doesn't matter, to health, to success. 5 years. So are you willing to give this business 5 years? Are you really going to do the activity for 5 years? And so choose to overcome your obstacles to succeed, and choose to continue learning. That's how you're going to have success. Because if you don't become a millionaire, you won't stay a millionaire, or whatever level that is for you. So continue personal development to get there. And hopefully, as I share my story with you, you can imagine me when you're going out there. And this applies to life. And so every time you start to have something, just imagine me. Okay, and hopefully that'll get you through that. So my personal humble opinion is it brings me closer to God. It's a good thing. Whatever you believe, that's fine. But sometimes we'll look at things negatively when we can look at them positively. And so if it brings me there, that's a good thing. Anything is possible. I truly believe that, and hopefully after my story, you'll believe that as well. You know, no excuses. Any excuse will do. You know, I'm too shy, I'm too old, I'm too young. You know, a little voice in your head that talks to you. The one that's saying, is it talking to me? That one right there, right? Anything that's in your head talking to you, anyone will do. Just say, I don't have any peanut butter. It's the same as I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have anything. And then you'll laugh, and the person you're giving an excuse to will laugh, and at least we know you're making an excuse, right? And never, ever quit. That's the only way you can fail in this business, if you don't start or if you quit. And that will help you with this in this business. So I was born 3 months premature. They said that I was dead at birth. And thankfully, I wasn't, right? And so in your life, things will seem like they're the end, but they're not. And so 3 pounds, months in the hospital, and they said I was dead, but I lived. So I was kind of ugly at first, but this is just my favorite picture. That's why I show it. 6 months later, I turned out all right, right? And then when I was 3 years old, I was kidnapped. My dad left the car running as I ran into a store, and someone stole the car. And luckily he crashed and they found me. Again, what it seems like in the moment doesn't dictate what it ends up in the end. And so they found the car. This is where I lived when I was in 4th grade. And unfortunately in 4th grade, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And they gave her 6 to 8 months to live. Now think about that. I can't even imagine telling my kids right now that I'm gonna die, right? And my mom looked me in my eyes and said, I will see you graduate high school. That was years later. What in your life right now do you think is like 6 to 8 months to live? What in your life right now seems like there's no way to get there? Well, why don't you tell yourself, I'll see you graduate high school? Because that's what she told me. I didn't worry about my mom ever again. But how many of you have an upline, a sponsor that's telling you, we've been there before you, we know this works, we know you can do it, but you still keep thinking about you have 6 to 8 months to live? Stop thinking about it. You know, if you have laser focus and you focus on where it is, you'll get there. But if you constantly worry about the issue that's at hand, that's what's going to keep coming. And so I never worried about my mom again. And it was amazing. And so this is my mom. She's my best friend in the entire world. If I can be a quarter like her, I truly feel blessed. She just poured so much into me. And I encourage you to do that with the people that you work with. Find the benefits, the value that they have, and let them pour into you within this organization. You know, learning from your own mistakes takes too long. So find good role models that you can learn from. If you don't have them right here, hands-on, read good books, read biographies, learn from other people's stories and mistakes, and that'll help you in this business. This is where I lived when I was in 6th grade, and unfortunately, there was accusations of molestation in my household. And so I was 14, my mom had cancer and 3 kids, and she said, I don't know what to do. So I moved out at 14 years old. Now, some people think that's neglect. No, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And again, you have to look at your circumstances when you're in them and find out, what can I learn from them? Looking back, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have the skills that I have today to get to where I need to get to. In the field right now, if you're getting no's or you can't get to the decision maker or whatever it is, that's what you need to learn right now so that you can become better and help other people within this business. If you had a team of 1 million people, could you really handle it? Be careful of asking what you really don't want. People want everyone to say yes. If everybody said yes, this opportunity would be over, right? If everybody, you know, they could just play an ad, they wouldn't need us. So all the things that you think you want, you really don't want. So be thankful with where you're at right now and take full advantage of it in this business. And so this is where I first lived when I was 14 in an apartment. By the time I was a freshman in high school, we bought our first condo. Now, it was in my mom's name. It was an FHA loan. But what freshman is even thinking about buying a condo at freshman in high school? Again, it's what she poured into me. What lessons are you learning along the way in this business? That's the most valuable part of this business, is what you learn from it. And so accept responsibility. Stop blaming other people for what you're doing. It just kills me how everyone blames everything else on their sponsor, on their upline, on the organization, on the company, on whatever. That has nothing to do with it. You are the only one in control of your life. Write your own story. Stop letting everybody else write your life. And so in 1991, I was in my first car accident. Now, I was an athlete in school. That was my outlet and everything. So my mom had cancer. I had moved out. Sports were my outlet. and I get into a car accident. We actually flipped off a mountainside. I got airlifted to intensive care. I had internal bleeding. I lacerated my spleen, fractured my humerus, pulled my rotator cuff, and I was paralyzed in a wheelchair, and they said, "You're never going to walk again." What obstacle do you have right now in your life where they're saying you're never going to walk again? Why do you let people steal your dreams? I've never understood that. If I had white carpet and someone came with muddy shoes all over my white carpet, what would you say? Get off. Excuse my language. Why do you let someone piss in your ear about Legal Shield? This is the only thing that you can control. Tell them to get off your white carpet. If a business owner doesn't want it, so what? That's not the business owner that you want. You want the outgoing one that wants to protect and grow their business and change their business. You don't want the one that's going to go out of business in the next 5 years anyway, because that's what most people will do. If they don't get it, next, move on. Stop letting people walk all over your business and your life with their muddy shoes, okay? And so, as you see here, by leaps and bounds, she jumps back into her life. I walked again. But see, not only did I walk again, I still hold records to this day at my high school. I can go back and bring my kids, and I'm leaving a legacy. You have an opportunity here in this company to leave a legacy. Are you going to leave one? You choose to. I mean, going from paralyzed, you're never going to walk again, to holding records, and then going from that to, modeling and acting and everything all over again. And then 2 months after I graduated high school, my mom passed away. And in light of my mom, you guys have a why that drives you. Because every day I think about it and I say, what would my mom do? And there's no way I could quit on my mom. A good friend of mine, Carrie Pete, wrote this poem that we changed up a little bit, but I think of her all the time. I thought I heard your voice today, something I've been praying. I turned around to call your name to ask what you were saying. I stopped and gazed at the faces, but what I should have known. I'll never look that way again, and theirs was not shown. Recalling your expressions as I try to keep them near, they're all that's left for me to hold now that you're no longer here. Sometimes I think of giving up, yet I know how you held on. There's nothing else for me to lose now that you have gone. Holding on to memories, not looking towards the end, but we played the game of fate, and I lost a loving friend. Still thinking of you always, for today I almost cried. I tried to think of how you lived the day before you died. If your why doesn't make you cry, you guys, it's not big enough. Do you think I can look at my children and say, you're not worth it? If that's your why, that's what you're doing when you're letting something dictate your life. You think I can think of my mom and say, you lasted 8 years, had 3 kids, never lost your hair, had bone marrow transplants, you did it for me, but I'm just gonna quit? You think I look at my faith and just say, you're not big enough? Like, what is your why that'll drive you in this business? Get it clear so that it's a joke if you don't do this business. And so moving forward, not only did I model again, I was Fitness LA 94. How do you go from you're never gonna walk to Fitness LA? It's because it's possible. What are you gonna decide is possible? That's what it's about. I got to model all over the country, billboards, and then who would have thought I got into another car accident? 5 years later, hit and run. And I heard that same words again, you're never gonna walk again. How many of you missed Players Club and want to quit this business? That's not why you got into this business, not because of Performance Club. You got in this business to be financially free. How many of you had somebody that quit or someone that said no? It doesn't matter. That's your second accident. Decide to keep going in this business and you're going to have success. And so I still wanted to model. Even though somebody quits, you still want to go out there and market your memberships. If your team's not doing it, go do group, go do small business. Decide how you're going to have success no matter what. Find the way, find the solution. The person that solves the most problems makes the most money. And so I went out there, I said, I still want to model. I'm in a wheelchair. Started modeling for my wheelchair company. Get creative in this business. If you can't do it the way everybody says, do it your way until you can do it the way they say, because if you stay in long enough, you're going to have success. So keep doing that activity until you can do that. In this picture, half of the people are disabled, half aren't. And they showed the billboard, and then 6 months later, they showed us on who's in a wheelchair. And it says, who's challenged? How many of you are prejudging things out there? How many of you are deciding you can't do it? Don't prejudge anything in this business. I went and modeled and was on swimsuit calendars. I even modeled for a shop model management. They represented disabled people. So if you're a single mom and you only can work during the day, start doing PTA. Start going into groups that deal with moms. Start mothers and multiples. Build a network around what you can do, not what you can't do. When I got paralyzed, I didn't think about the 100 things I couldn't do. I thought about the 1,000 things that I could. Why are you looking at what you can't do? Find out what you can and take advantage of that and capitalize on it, right? And so, amazing. I was in Nordstrom. I couldn't even do that walking, right? I did that from my wheelchair. So you can create the success that you want. Then I'm assaulted in my wheelchair. I mean, really? And I'm sure you feel like that way in your business. But it's okay, keep going. Self-esteem will get you through everything. Believe that you can. I give you the permission right now to have success. The statute of limitations over on all those complaints and problems and excuses that you have. Stop. It doesn't serve you at all. And I had my lovely twin boys. Now I'm salted. I don't know who the father is. He says, have them, have an abortion or me. I picked my kids. Best thing that ever happened to me. And why I share that is because in this business, you'll have to make tough decisions. Don't sign up your daughter's friend, change the birth date just so you can qualify. Don't, throw bad business into the thing. Don't sign up a business like that can't afford it. Make the integrity decisions. You'll build a strong business that'll pay you generation after generation. And that's why I share this, because it's easy to take the easy way out. Do this business the right way, and it'll be the best opportunity that you've ever had.